Her mother kept saying during the 911 call, she was an adult. She was an adult. And she stopped eating some months ago. She wouldn't eat. She just stopped eating. She stopped moving. She was an adult. She kept rattling on. She was an adult repeatedly. And when she was asked what was her age, he said she was 30 something. She was 33. She was 32 before she eventually settled on 31. But Lacey Fletcher was not 31. She was not 32. She was not 33. She was a 36-year-old woman that was found dead by her parents in their living room in January 3rd, 2022. So welcome back to my channel. My name is Linda Camara and you're on Crime Stories with Linda. So let's just dive into this case. It was a very horrifying case of neglect that happened in Slaughter, Louisiana. So this is the case of Lacey Fletcher. She was born in November 1995. She grew up with her family. She was the only child. So, and in this small community of Slaughter that is even less than 1,000 people, she was well known. She attended school there and she was doing very well in school. She was known to be a very smart girl. So she had friends. But when she was 15, she was just pulled out of school by her mom without any serious and from then on, she was homeschooled by her mother. So according to the parents, she had severe autism and social anxiety. She was taken to the doctor when she was a teenager and she was diagnosed with social anxiety, severe autism. So she had this thing since she was a child. So according to the mom, that was her issue, because according to her, Lacey would not want to go out of the house. She would just be indoors. Since they pulled her out of school, she doesn't want to go out. She doesn't go out. She doesn't mingle with people anymore. Unlike when she was going to school. When she had friends, she mixes up with people. But since she started being homeschooled, she just doesn't want to go out of the house anymore. She would just be indoors. She would do all her school activities and then she would just be inside the house. From 2010, their parents went to the doctor and told them that Lacey would not leave a particular couch in their living room. That Lacey would not leave. She would just sit on that couch and watch TV all day, and she would not leave. And Lacey, even before she started having this bouts of social anxiety, Lacey was known to like Disney. She was known to love this Mariah Carey music. She loved country music. So that she would be on the couch without moving, the doctor was like, okay, maybe she should be hospitalized. Maybe she should be institutionalized since she doesn't move from that couch. So the parents said okay, and they left the hospital, and that was the last time they ever went to the doctor since 2010. Lacey was found in 2022. So for 12 years, Lacey was sitting on that couch to the extent that she was fused to the couch. The couch particles were in fact fused to her body. The foam was in her body, was fused to her body. She was fused to her body to the extent that she cannot move from that couch. Her legs atrophied. The muscles, the nerves could not move anymore. She cannot leave. Even if she wants to leave the couch, she cannot leave by herself. So what her parents did was to buy a small toilet, and then keep it close to the couch. Then they brought her books, left it close to the couch, then brought all the necessities that she would need, like her clothes, her wipes, and a lot of things. They just left it close to the couch and just left Lacey to her own means. That okay, since you're an adult and since you would not leave the couch, just stay there, take these things and take care of yourself. That was what they just did. Knowing that she had this severe anxiety, that she cannot live there, is a mental problem. They just left her there. She kept rotting. Her flesh was rotting into the couch. She just sat there, and to the extent that the couch, the couch sunk She sunk with the couch, and she was still inside that couch. Everywhere was messed up with fecal matter. Everything, her urine, her physics, everything was just on that couch. She doesn't leave the couch for anything. She just does everything, all her business on that couch. She poops there, she pees there, she does everything on the couch. And her parents, seeing all of that, could not even say, okay, let's just take her to a doctor, let's just take her to the hospital, let's just seek help. This is our only child. Let's see what is happening to her that will make her not to leave this couch. They didn't do any of that. They just left her there. Her mom's excuse was that she's an adult. When she called when she made the 911 call, she just kept reiterating that Lacey was an adult, that she was an adult. So they felt okay that maybe she's an adult, that they can leave those things for her. After they've taken care of what they can do, they just left those things for her, that she should take care of herself. But Lacey couldn't take care of herself. Her muscles has atrophied to the extent that she cannot move. Even if she wants to move by herself, she can no longer move. And she was sitting cross-legged on that couch. She has been sitting there for 12 years. From 2010 that they went to that doctor, and the doctor told them that she should be hospitalized. Her parents did nothing. They just came back and just left her to her own means, just left her to her business. What they kept saying when they were being interrogated, it was that Lacey refused to live there, and that it was her own choice to stay on that couch, that they couldn't do anything, that she has decided to be on that couch, that they just left her there. And these people will leave Lacey to her means and go on a vacation for days. They will leave her there and travel and go for weekend outings. For days, they will just leave her there to her own means. Lacey was just with food, without food. They know that she cannot move. So even if they leave food for her, when she finished that particular food that they keep close to her mouth, she would not have any other thing to do. She would not have any other thing to eat. She was just there. Lacey was just there. This is one of the worst cases of neglect I've ever seen. See, she would just be there. She was eating the foam of the couch. That was what was found in her tummy during her autopsy. She was just her tummy was just filled with the foam from the couch and feces. Those were the things that were found in her tummy. She doesn't eat food. She doesn't have. In fact, she was just left there. Her parents just kept those things. They kept her books, her music, everything close to the couch, and just left her to do things by herself. And they know fully well that she cannot take care of herself. They have seen her. Okay, even if they are trying to cajole her into rising up and doing things by herself, if they had tried it for 2 weeks and she didn't stand up, how will she stand up? They have seen that she's fusing into that chair. The chair and her body are becoming one. Why didn't they rush her to the hospital? Why didn't they call the police? They were staying in a Sena clan. Why didn't they call the police? They could have gotten a lot of help. Her mom was the elder man in their community. She was the vice mayor of their small town slaughter. The small towns, what is known for is that people come together to help each other. Small towns are the best place to be if you have this type of problem. The people will rally around for you. Nobody knew. Some of the people living in the town said that Clay and Sheila had a child. Some people don't know. People that have not been there for long doesn't know that they have a child. That these two people have a child, that Lacey exists. Most people that knew her thought that she had left the house and that she had gotten married. Just of people her age mates now. They thought she had left and she had gotten married, and maybe she doesn't want to visit that small town anymore. That was why they haven't seen her for 12 years. So nobody knew her whereabouts. Only her parents, Clay and Sheila, knew that Lacey is inside their living room. Nobody knows what was happening with her. So a lot of people felt that she's already married and had children. That's why nobody sees her anymore. But nobody knew that Lacey had been in her parents' living room all these years, being on the couch, fusing into the couch, and does not have any care at all. The parents were just going about their business, and they are church people. The mom and the dad, they attend Baptist church, and they were very known as very church going people. And they just left their child to just rot. They will come back home past that couch smelling and everything. They will just go about their own business and just leave her. They will sit on their own couch the other side and be watching TV while Tracy is just here rotting away. She had no care. They had no care for her. They had no thoughts of her. They just left her to her own. I don't even think they see her as a human being at this point. They just see her as maybe an object, or even the couch. They just left her there. They would change the other parts of the living room. They would clean the other parts of the living room and leave that place the way it is. Even the urine and the feces, they were already pulling under the chair, was already pulling and melting away too. But they just left it there. They just left her there to die on her own inside there. She would poop, she would pee. They would just leave her to her own means. After all, she's an adult. She can take care of herself. Is she not up to 20? She started having that problem when she was 24, and then she stayed there till she was 36. She never left the house. She had been there. Even from some theories were saying that since they pulled her out of the school, she had been in that house all those years. Started staying on the couch without leaving. She had been coming out of the house, and one of their neighbors that spoke to the police after Lacey was found said that he saw her in 2010 when she was exercising in front of their house. That was the last sighting of apart from Sheila and Clay. No other person had seen her since that 2010. That was very, very bad of them. They would leave her there. They would travel. They would go on vacation for weeks, and they would just leave her there to her own. If she want to die, let her die. If she want to leave, let her leave. Sheila was eating the foams of the couch to be able to survive. People were saying that one of the reasons why she couldn't leave the couch was because she had locked-in syndrome. Locked-in syndrome is this a problem that can happen where somebody would be able to know what is happening around him or her, but will not be able to move. You will not even be able to lift your finger when you have locked-in syndrome. You would not be able to move. You will not be able to do anything. Sometimes they roll their eyes, sometimes not. They will just stay there for sometimes years or months, and some people who have it, they will just die from there. Some will survive, but it's usually hard to survive that. So people were saying that she had this locked-in syndrome, but other people, the major people in the medical field, said that she doesn't have locked-in syndrome. Assuming she had that, she will not be able to move the muscles of her mouth to eat the couch. She would not be able to do that, because if you have locked-in syndrome, you cannot even move any muscle. You cannot talk, you cannot eat. If they want to eat, they have to be forced to eat. So you cannot move any muscle if you have locked-in syndrome. So she never had locked-in syndrome. She had severe social anxiety, and the exact reason why she couldn't move was really unknown. It was unknown. But there are some mental problems that people will have, that to leave their house will become a problem. A lot of people have this agoraphobia, that fear of going outside, fear of mingling with people. Some people who have it will not be able to move from their living room to their kitchen. people have a lot of anxieties, but this is the one that they had this social anxiety. And I think the parents were really trying to force her to stand up by herself and do things by herself, that she's an adult. That was why they kept all these things for her. But seeing that she has not been able to do that, she has not been able to move, at least let's say for the first 1 week, it should have told them that she would not move. She needs medical attention. She needs help to be able to move. She needs help to be able to do those things. And assuming they got her the help she needed, maybe she would have gotten better. But no, they didn't do all of that. They just left her there. And it's not as if these people were poor or they cannot afford medical attention for their child. They can. They were known people. They were powerful people in their town. For someone to be a vice mayor, it's not a small something. That person is not a small person in the community. These are people that people have to go to if they need something. People that have this type of problem will go to them and they will help them solve it. And that their small town where the elderly stays, they had nursing homes, they had things. If she had called out for help, people would have helped her. Those kind of community are known to love each other. They are known to know a lot of things about each other. So she could have gotten the help if they wanted. They were just trying to hide it, and they just left their child to be there, melting away, melting on the couch. The couch was melting. The girl was melting and fusing with the couch. Just left her there. Her bones were she had sores. She had bed sores. You know, if you are in the hospital or if you're on a bed and the person doesn't move, you have bed sores. People that I know that had bed sores that cannot move and stayed on the bed, they will have these sores on their back or any part side that you are lying on. You have a lot of sores. So Lacey had sores all over her body. Those sores, she would pee on herself. She will have this diaper rash that children used to have. There will be bugs. There will be bugs moving all over her body. There were maggots all over her body. There were maggots inside her ears, inside her private areas. There were maggots there. Maggots were eating her rotten flesh. They were eating her rotten. Some of her body was already bones. The bones, not like she has emaciated to become bony. No, there were raw bones protruding out of her body because maggots and bugs have eaten through her body. There were cat poops or rat poops all over the couch, meaning that rats were also there eating her body. Bugs were eating her body. Maggots were eating part of her body. And the parents were seeing all of these things, and they didn't help her in any way. Her bones were showing, where her flesh has been eaten away, that the bones were now showing. Maggots was all over her body. There were maggots inside her ears. Even as she is alive, maggots were inside her ear. Fecal matter everywhere. Feces were on her hair, matted with her hair. Her hair was full of feces. Everywhere there were fecal matter all over her face. There were blotches on her face. Everywhere. She just in her nose. She had maggots in her nose, her mouth. She eats her poop. She eats her poop to be able to survive. She would eat. Oh God. She would eat the cushion foam, then she would poop it out and eat it again to be able to survive, to continue to survive. She would pee there. She would drink the pee. She would. Oh God. She suffered a lot. She was alive and she was rotten. Her body, her back, when they pulled her out, her bum was rotten, was black already. So it was just so horrifying. It was just so horrifying. The state that she was found was so horrifying. And her parents left her there. Her parents that gave birth to her just left her there that okay, that they will not be indicted if she's found dead, that they will not be convicted, that she's an adult. She could have, if she chose to stay there, she should rot there. She should rot there if she chose to be there. What kind of parents were they? According to the police, they said they were saying that they are parents, that they are not caregivers, that they didn't sign to be caregivers. What kind of talk is that? How will you leave your child in that kind of situation? You just move, you wake up, bathe, go to work, come back to work, see your child still sitting the same spot that she was when you left in the morning. You would leave her there, you would go and come back again and still meet her there. You people would not have not have the heart, the conscience to even say, okay, let's move her to the hospital. Any of that. They just left this girl to melt away with the couch. The worst part of it is the maggots eating her while she's alive. The bugs eating her while she's alive. They kept saying that it was her choice. It was her choice it was her choice to be there, to be on that chair. That she's an adult. She could have made the decision to stand up. There is no way she could have even stand. There's no way she could have come out of that thing if nobody helped her, because her muscles had atrophied. If you're sitting cross-legged for like 3 hours, to even stand up after that is a problem. Imagine sitting cross-legged for 12 years. Imagine sitting cross-legged for 12 years. Even after the first week, I'm not sure she would have been able to stand from there. After 1 week, after a whole 24 hours, she wouldn't be able to stand by herself. But they left her there, that this was her choice, that she chose this, let her just be there. They felt that they would not be indicted. They felt that they would not suffer any consequence. After all, she was an adult. That was why, I think that was one of the major reasons that when they came back from their vacation and saw that she was dead, or that without fear, on the 3rd of January, when they came back from their weekend getaway and saw her that she was no longer breathing, they had the guts to call 911. I think they felt they would not be indicted. They felt that they would not have any, that it would not affect them in any way. After all, she was an adult. After all, didn't have any. To them, they said she was not sick. For someone to sit on the couch, you see the couch that is melted away for 12 years. Even for the first 1 year, why did they think that she wasn't sick? She was sick. They said she wasn't sick. Now she had decided to stay there. Let her stay here. And it was her choice. And this was where Lacey said she wanted to be. So they just left her there, and that was how she was found on 3rd of January. According to the coroner, Lacey had been dead for close to 48 hours or even more before she was found on January 3rd. And the mom called the police, and I've talked about what she said. And when the police got there, they found Lacey the way she was there. They were horrified. They were terrified. This was their first time of seeing something like that. I don't think any other person had ever seen something like that before. For someone to be fused with the chair. Even during the 911 call, they were telling Sheila to give her CPR, and she was shouting to Clay, give her CPR. They said you should give her CPR. You should pull her down from the chair and give her CPR. Like Clay was shouting back, I cannot pull her from the chair. I cannot pull her from the chair. How can you pull her from the chair when she was already one with the chair? She was fused to the chair. Her body had melted to the chair and fused with the chair. That to the extent that she can no longer be moved away from the chair. She will have to be cut out of the chair. So when the police saw the state of how Lacey was, they couldn't handle it. They had to call the coroner. And when the coroner came, he said that was one of the worst smell he had ever smelt For a coroner to say something like that, coroners that had to deal with death every day, different variation of death, they had to, he said that that was one of the worst smells he had never smelled something like that. That after bringing her out of there and dealing with that case, he said he couldn't eat or sleep for a whole week. After dealing with this, he couldn't sleep for a whole week. That he had not smelled something like that. That they wondered how Sheila and Clay were able to stay in that house for 12 years with the smell oozing from that chair. How were they able to stay in that house? Maybe they now had a nose blindness. Okay, maybe because they are so used to staying there, they are so used to the smell, they have now gotten blind to the smell of that couch. Maybe that was what happened with them, because the people that came there said that they couldn't breathe, they couldn't even hold their breath. So they were able to, the coroner, Dr. Bickham, was able to bring Sheila out of the couch and took her body away. And then when he did the autopsy, he found that Lacey had fecal matter inside her stomach. According to Sheila, when she came back that day, they had given her Cheetos and some food. But the coroner said that there was no food inside her tummy. From what he saw there inside her tummy, there was no food. There was only that foam from the couch and feces inside her tummy. She was eating her own feces, and then she was eating the foam. That was the only thing that was inside her tummy. And then that was what broke a lot of people's heart, because what that means they were not giving her food. She was just neglected. She was just left there to rot and die. And that was what the coroner said, and it was so heartbreaking. So heartbreaking. How will you treat your own child like that? How would you leave your own child? You see her melting. You see her in that couch. The couch had already sunken in. They just left her there. Later, when the case went on trial, at first Sheila and Clay were claiming that they didn't do anything bad, that they didn't do anything bad. They were pleading not guilty, because the case was being tried as second degree, and second degree murder, if convicted, they would be given life imprisonment without the possibility of parole. So they were claiming that they didn't do anything wrong, that it was Lacey's choice to be on that couch. When they found out that the case is that it had been televised and a lot of people had opinions about it, and people were already pushing so much for them to be convicted, they now changed their plea to guilty, and they were able to be charged for manslaughter, which had a maximum sentence of 40 years. So for them to do that, they just had to go that route, because they didn't want to be severely punished. And when they were first arrested for this case, they were given the option of bailing themselves out with $300,000. Do you know that these people were able to bail themselves out with $72,000, meaning that these people had money to take care of their child, and they didn't do that? For people to have $72,000 to bail themselves out from the police custody, they had the money. They could have been able to give this girl keep her in a good hospital and take care of her. They didn't do that. They were able to bail themselves out within the next 48 hours when they were in custody, and they released them, and they were now at home waiting for trial. And the trial didn't start until February of 2024. And then when they now found out that they can no longer plead not guilty, they changed their plea to guilty and accepted the manslaughter plea, and they were given 40 years, 20 years suspended, meaning that they can be released when they are when they are in their 80s. They were at 66 when this case happened. So when they were in their when they will be in their 80s, that will be when they will be released. Years was suspended. They will serve mandatory 20 years. So that was how happened with this case. This is one of the worst case of neglect ever recorded in US history. Please leave your thoughts and comments in the comment section, and if you have not subscribed to this channel, please subscribe and have a wonderful day. Please just stay safe and stay curious. Be blessed. Bye.